Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the VR Untethered podcast, where we are untethered from any sense of normalcy,
That's true. And our
and
volume
we are
might
glad of
be
it.
corrected a
We are
bit.
proud of it.
We are proud of it, which is why people avoid us whenever they see us coming.
Um, I think that might just be a you thing.
Oh, again, it might be.
All right, so once again, I'm not Brad Pitt, neither is he, but I am Josh, and that is Brad.
And you
But
can
I'm not
tell,
Josh Holloway. No,
no, and I'm not Brad Pitt.
I'm
But,
not as famous as Josh Holloway. Maybe someday I will be, but probably not.
you can always think,
Yeah, I mean,
This,
I've never been stranded on a supernatural island for 7 years, so. Or was it 10 years? I think it was more like 10, wasn't it? Because it was like 10 or 11 seasons.
um, it felt like it was 173 seasons if we're going to go by that.
True. True.
So I'm
And
really,
for most of it, it was the Jack show.
this is true. But,
It was all about Jack.
yes, everything was all about Jack. That's true. But, most things are.
Yeah. And at the end of it, we just realized that we didn't know Jack.
Another thing, none of us ever really knew Jack. I know. Rim shot. Wow, your God rays are very bright today. Yes, no. I'm blinded by your thoughts. Um,
Yes. Those are my thoughts leaking out of my head, yes.
it's wow, it's crowded in there today. Why don't you relieve yourself of some of the pressure and tell us about your highlights from the week? Ooh, that was a good segue. That was good.
Wasn't it, though?
Thank you.
I was going to relieve you of the pressure of my thoughts by asking you about your highlights.
Two minds without a single thought, but yours is glowing brighter, my friend.
Well, if we're going to start with mine, sometime today, my bulk stocks will arrive. And I will be able to install them on the virtual, well, the not virtual, is very real, a real wood, the gunstock base. And then I will be able to play onward with a gunstock instead of having to hold my hands up in the air and having them possibly misaligned without realizing it.
Yeah, it's amazing how people argue over the usefulness of the stock or being
Yeah.
able to hold it without occluding, and it just seems to me that a game like Onward would call for a gun stock. I
Well,
mean,
yeah. And this is the most affordable one that I've ever seen. It was, uh, what, 65? No, 45 before shipping, and then $20 shipping.
oh my God.
But it's just the cups and the mounts. It's not the actual body of it. It's called the Boke VR Freestyle, and it's made by James Boke, who is the co-captain of the second, I believe, team in the world in Onward, uh, in the VR Master League, and he is known for precision aiming with grenades. He can get them exactly where he wants, have them explode at exactly the right time. He does exactly the right amount of cooking of the grenade.
Gotcha. He's the grenade master.
Yeah, and
Understood.
and he runs a website where he's using his 3D printer and just carbon fiber tubes for the most part to make three different lines of the gun stock. He's got the signature, which is all together. He's got the freestyle, which is what I got, and he just came out with the marksman, which has a cheek weld, so you can have the gun stock and then weld it,
Right.
support it on the cheek. Well, because not everybody out there knows what that is. So,
Oh, okay.
So,
I'm sorry.
and the marksman is also able to be adjusted between whatever two different heights of the butt that you want with just a quick little, you know. So if you are using one gun on Marsoc, another gun on Volk, and they have different cheek weld height, then just select it, and in the loading screen, or even in the 15-second cooldown period before the match starts, done, and it's at the right height. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The only downside is I will have to take my wrist straps off of the controllers because it's a cup style that you insert in and then pull out.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I still haven't found the right grips for mine, so everybody has a different opinion, and everybody hates everybody else's grip, and
Seems like it. Yeah.
it's like, VR cover when they came out with their grip. I mean, Mammoth when they came out with their grips, those were the best grips. It was just no two ways
Right.
about it. And now every other grip has something wrong with it, some issue.
Well,
And
personally, I'm not terribly picky about that. If it does what I needed to do, I'm good.
okay.
Which is why I have the Kiwi grips that are on my Quest 1. Well, not my Quest 1 because I gave it to my wife and my son, but and on this one I have not ordered to custom the grips yet, so I'm just using the wrist straps. So now I'm going to have to get used to not using them with wrist straps, or with learning how to quickly attach and detach them.
That's not going to
So
be.
that when I'm not playing Onward, I don't think that I've got them on and go, okay, time to. Oh crap!
Yeah. No, I know. I got so used to playing with them that it really does feel like that now, and I have to realize I'm still holding this, and there are times that it's like my hands hurt. I want to just let go for a second, and I can't, and it's like it's crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like I've had to do so many adjustments with this, and why can't they get a grip,
True.
that everybody talks about? No pun intended, although it did come out that way, I know. Get a grip, Brad. Get a grip. Anyway,
Get a grip on yourself, man.
so now that you're getting this 3D printer, I might have to have you make the alternative attachment for my deluxe audio strap from my Vive.
Maybe. Only if you send me your coffee pots.
I'm collecting them now, Josh. I'm collecting them now. There'll be much brown in your plastic collection, I can guarantee you that.
Well, I think what I've got in here is kind of if I remember right, it's like a light dusky green filament. It was included with it. So.
Right, some unwanted color. I got it.
Probably.
Yes. You have to pay for the wanted colors, but well, not the commercial, the thing I saw on YouTube that the person was doing was basically going to the dollar store and buying all of the correct type plastic utensils for $1, and then coming back and melting them. And
I suppose that could work if it's the right kind of plastic.
right, well, that was what she said, was as long as you make sure it's the right kind of plastic. It was the cheapest way that she found.
I mean, I used to work at a plastic manufacturer company, and if they did a part, they ground it up and they reused the material.
Right.
So stick it back in the melting end, and it's good to go.
That was the beauty of plastic. It'll destroy the earth, but it makes a great, replacement article pretty quickly.
Yeah. With enough 3D printers, you can make a new Earth.
Somebody should tell Elon about this. No, don't. He'll really start something. You know, it'll
He'll make
be.
a. He'll go. What if I made a sun-sized 3D printer?
No, he's going to put the schematic for your neural interface for the 3D printer that you can create for yourself. And then you'll have the CRISPR so that you can mutate your, and, you know, we'll get the
Oh
whole.
yeah, have an internal 3D printer. Yes, I like
Exactly.
that.
See, we've just discovered a brand new use. Elon, it's ours. You can't have it.
You have to pay us a $2 billion royalty if you want to use it.
Oh, well, I think Bitcoin just went up about that much last hour or so. So, you
Yeah.
know,
So just
sure
give
he
me one
has to.
Bitcoin, and that idea is all yours. Yeah.
Exactly. One Bitcoin. On the way up,
So,
though, not the way down, please.
yeah. So speaking of highlights, so do you have any?
Did I have any highlights? My highlights this week are too numerous to mention. But as far as VR is concerned, um, I've really been fascinated following the Apple story of the, you know, seeing what they're actually going to release. And it's really taken my entire week of study to see exactly what Apple is doing. And it seems like that $3,000 headset isn't what's coming. It's the
Yeah,
thousand. It's like
I had a
thousand
feeling
to
too.
$1,200 headset with the 8K. It's going to be virtual reality, but it's going to have 12 sensors, and it will
Well,
have the LiDAR.
um, well, actually, yeah. I just realized I don't have that in the section, so keep going.
There you go. I mean, so this really fascinated me because the fact that they're including LiDAR in their VR headset, ta-da, you
Well,
know, it's
yeah,
like no more drawing your couch line and having the Guardian show up. You know, it's like
right,
all of the little stupid things that Oculus didn't do, like include your couch, you
right,
know, or make the other things inclusive. Just stupid little things that they seem to overlook, like the color camera in the Quest 2 to give
right.
us augmented reality. Now they're teasing us with the Quest 3 Pro. So,
Well, and they're also talking about the Quest 4.
right. I mean, it's
Deal. Get the down, please. Sorry.
like you know, that's fine. They're talking, like I said, yeah, the Quest 3 Pro, the Quest 4. It's like, guys, I just got the Quest 2. You're
Exactly.
you're having trouble keeping the fork between the Quest 1 and 2 together. They've already split, and now now you're like Apple. Now already I'm 5 years into the future, and who wants this piece of crap?
Right.
So they're
Well, yeah.
underselling.
I don't mind them being 5 years in the future, and they're looking at and thinking at. That's what I want, actually.
Right.
But I don't want them trying to take that 5 years in the future and making it happen now, 1 year after the present.
But and not have
You
it
know?
happen correctly. That's just it. Here they put the XR processor, which is being used to run the Sony series. Their highest end series is using the same processor our Oculus Quest is using. You
Right.
can't give me any reason why there would be any graphical problem with it whatsoever. When it can
Right.
run an 85-inch screen,
Right.
you know, please. So,
Remember your headphones, bad, right?
you know,
Sorry.
in our quest for honesty in the untethered world, I'm really hoping that Apple does this because
Yeah.
it looks like you know, everybody keeps teasing the Quest killer, and I really don't see a Quest killer coming out. I just see
No.
Quest
I
improving.
mean, Facebook has this priced too low for a proper Quest killer to come out because it would need to be backed by a company with the same pockets as Facebook. And Apple has those pockets, but they're not really willing to do low end to cost. They always do high end. So,
Yes. No, well, you
and
know,
I don't
then
really
they're
see any other company having the the deep pockets to be able to, have this lower price.
Honestly, Sony, but they won't do it because
Right.
Sony never lowers the price on their product line. They're like Apple. They
Right.
just not going to happen. So, um, and that's, I believe I mentioned in our last podcast that somebody was talking, and this isn't Untethered, I'm sorry, but they were talking about the difference between the PlayStation 5 role model, modeling for games and the Xbox modeling for games. And they were saying, the PlayStation, I'm going to be paying $70 for every exclusive title, whereas with the Xbox, it's included in my Game Pass.
Right.
So for $120 for 3 years, I get access to every exclusive title plus the Bethesda games.
Right.
And I don't know whether or not I'm going to like this $70 game I'm buying from PlayStation.
Right.
And all of a sudden, it becomes a whole different ballgame when he starts talking about how they're going to feed the machine. And Sony might have missed the ball on this one.
Well, I was going to say that is something that's potentially in Apple's favor, perhaps, because they have Apple Arcade already. All they need to do is tie in the AR and the VR apps into that, and they've already got a Vive port like model. Get them in with the admittedly more expensive headset, but then for a relatively low monthly subscription, you get access to everything.
Yeah, my only problem is then you go to Apple TV and you see what a mess they made of that, and I don't know what they're going to do with.
I'm just saying they've got the potential for that.
Yeah.
Whether they actually do that, whether they do it right,
Right.
Different story altogether.
Right. I haven't seen them implement anything on that scale that would make me go, yes, they can do that. I know they have the pockets for it. I just don't know that they really have that foresight. And I know Tim Cook is like so hyped on augmented reality. I just hope he doesn't shortchange what they're doing with the VR.
Right. Well, I know Nathan from Sculptor VR is now working for Apple, so they do have some good VR talent working for them.
Right.
So,
well, as I had discussed with the group early on, I believe that the mixture of VR and AR is so powerful, and some people just have no clue. Yeah. What that's going to do to be able to create not only the environment but also the alternatives within that environment are just
right. Well, like one of the things, if I remember right, that had making lo-fi so appealing to people is the fact that Anti-Cleric is including AR in the VR. You have an AR-assisted sights on the gun or whatever. I mean,
No, I understand that because I think I had gone on the Avatar Banshee ride in Disney World, and it was a virtual reality experience in the sense that you're on the back of this robotic Banshee and it's moving you through a very three-dimensional scene, but you're wearing these goggles that are projecting augmented reality onto the goggle at the same time. And it's an experience that I can't describe to you because it was mixing three realities, where I was augmented and virtual, and it was all three combined, and it was powerful, probably one of the most powerful experiences I've had in terms of, like a ride or something like that. So, yeah, I see the potential. It's amazing. And I think Apple, with what they're doing by including the LiDAR, just broke the boundaries. It's like, screw the XR chip. That LiDAR is very important when you're in a virtual setting.
Well, yeah. And it's very important for any AR device because it's faster than almost any software-based solution. I mean, 60.ai was pretty fast, but LiDAR is even faster. So
I had LiDAR.
And if you're relying on that for the SLAM, for the VR, for the positional tracking of the headset, you want that to be as instantaneous as possible. So if someone walks into it, you go, got a person there. You know,
Well,
they're
there's
probably in
that.
that way too.
There's also, well, of course, in that voice. I'm, I didn't think there was any need to comment on that. Also, just the fact that it makes your guardian become infinite,
Well, yeah,
if done correctly.
it would
And
move easy though.
my guardian moves. I know. I have the ultimate infinite guardian that was built
We
into
have an
my
infinite
system.
guardian already, Brad.
I know, which sounds great, but sometimes gets in the way. Um, but yeah, I'm really excited about what Apple, for the first time, really, in like 20 years. Oh my God, you're blinding me. For the first time in 20 years, I'm pretty excited about what Apple is doing. And I really got turned off by Hey Facebook. That just was,
Yeah, I don't have that turned on. I mean, not that I really use the voice activation in the past when it was on the VR. I mean, I did occasionally,
right,
but it would get it wrong. I'd have to do multiple attempts, so it was easier to just use the remote and click, click, click. You
right.
know, but given that it's Hey Facebook, yeah, if it were Hey Oculus, I might enable it, play around with it, but yeah, no.
So I'm glad that they have the App Lab going. I think that they went a little
Yeah, we're
crazy on the
gonna
pricing.
get into App Lab pretty soon here.
Okay. So highlights for the week for me
Thing.
were just okay. Highlights for me every week is staying on top of the upgrades because it seems like every week, especially when you own as many games as I do, that it seems like every week there's at least 4 or 5 new patches, and they're big. They are
Well,
big patches.
and this past week we saw like 11 updates for Horizon alone, all in one day.
That I don't know what they did to screw up, man. Somebody must have really done something there. That was crazy how many
So
patches
it's
were
like,
coming out.
oh crap! I forgot to post the change logs for the past 5 updates. Oh wait, 5 more. Ah.
I know, it was nuts. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing really the last couple of weeks, honestly, is just trying to keep everything up to date, patched, see what version of system software we're on this week, and if Boz is going to tell me something new that's coming out, which is going to make me hate my set even more, it's like,
Right,
it's just crazy. I think that they really blew it this time, to be honest with you.
right.
As good as they did is as poorly as they did.
Yeah. So, speaking of App Lab and whatnot, let's start off with non-App Lab stuff for the new releases. Flowweaver.
But which actually looked a whole lot prettier than I thought it was going to look from the
Yeah,
trailer.
yeah. Upload VR kind of panned it a little bit because I guess they didn't really grasp the concept that it's an escape room or something. I don't know, but I mean, some of the stuff that they knocked it down for is it's exactly the same in the room. You can only interact with things that pertain to the puzzle. You don't have just random interactions. Yet the room, they and
If if
Flow
you're
Weaver, they're
if
like,
you're
you know,
if you're trying to find some sort of logic behind what Upload VR
I
writes,
know, I know,
stop.
I know,
Just stop because they
I
have
know.
different people
But no,
writing the
I'm saying,
articles.
wait. Mechanics is okay for one game, not okay for this game. But it's the same mechanic. It's the same kind of game. It's a different atmosphere. Yeah, I don't know. But yes, it looks very beautiful. It looks very story driven, which I think is another thing Upload pays
Miss.
lip service to, but they don't really like.
Right. I know. It's like, do you want the story or not? It seems like really when somebody includes the story, everybody pans the fact that they have to go through the story. And if they don't include a story, everybody wants to know, why am I doing this if there's no story involved to
Exactly.
motivate?
Yeah. So, anyways, it looks good. I haven't bought it yet because uh, I'm on a little bit of a break for that, saving up for Wraith and Cosmo Dread and all that stuff. So
I read a bad review of Wraith the other day. It was
it's
like,
not even out yet.
I know, and I'm reading a bad review, and then I'm reading, then I see the headline, Dr. Beef, Half-Life 2, and then I read it, goes, he's not going to do it.
Yes,
Really? This
yes.
is the headline?
Discussing that later, but yeah, there are reasons, that are kind of valid reasons.
Well, no, I'll grant you that, but then you don't lead with the headline,
Right,
World War III would happen if, it's
right,
like sort of,
right.
yeah. So that
But
was
yeah,
sort of a weird.
yes. So moving on to the App Lab titles now, and you want to buckle in for this. We have World War One warplanes, war yards, gun raiders, Jigsaw 360, Pico Pico, Seps Diner, The Final Overs, V Speedway, Solicitude Wake Up, and Sky Squadron. All came out this past week. Just all of a sudden,
Right.
App Lab threw up a whole bunch of titles.
Well, if you read the blog, App Lab went from having 3 people working in App Lab to now having 20% of Facebook working in App Lab.
Well,
So they,
yeah.
right.
You didn't look at the board before we started, did you?
Um,
Nah, but yeah, App Lab was a small team, and they all of a sudden ramped up. So we're probably going to see a much faster pace of App Lab titles coming out now. Warplanes is, as it sounds, it's a warplane simulator app. World War One warplanes, and you can either be in an arcade mode where you start off in the sky and you stay in the sky and you just go through the missions, or you can do it in a more simulator way where you take off and then it loads into the in the air mission and then it loads into the landing mission.
right.
It's still not quite seamless, I have heard, but at least you can get the full takeoff, in-flight, and landing experience from it. And from what I've heard, it is very beautiful and it plays well.
Yeah, I heard that too, which is nice.
Yeah. War Yards is out, and it's one that I tried a demo of on Rift via Virtual Desktop. I wasn't terribly impressed by it at the time. Hopefully it is better in this version, but if I remember right, this is the one where it's kind of you're in a shootout situation with another person. You've got a pistol, you've got a shotgun, whatever, and you can slow down time to dodge bullets or to precisely place your bullet in this multiplayer. So it's interesting that they are able to do the time slow in a multiplayer environment. That's a pretty cool part of it right there. But when I tried it before, it wasn't as fun as I was hoping it to be. So hopefully this version is more fun and is a little bit more polished. Because it could be just that was an old demo.
Could be, but I mean, it does sound like a super hot type game, which,
Right.
They never managed multiplayer, so.
Right.
We'll see.
Yep. And I'm not going to go through a detailed list of all of these, but Jigsaw 360 is a 360 jigsaw puzzle around you,
great.
rather than like in puzzling places where you are assembling a fully formed 3D model. This is just a jigsaw puzzle around you. And we have Seps Diner, which is another cookout or sandwich tale kind of game, but it's more aimed at being a single player title. the Cookout, you can do a single player, but it's not really balanced for single player. The Final Overs is a cricket simulator where you can play as Jiminy or wrong kind. No,
you couldn't name another famous cricket anyway. So
I know, probably not. But it's a British version of baseball simulator. It's just the batting. So the Speedway is a racing game. Solicitude Wake Up is a horror title, and Sky Squadron I have played a beta of before. It is aimed at being a Star Fox like game, and it's got similar low poly graphics to the original N64 Star Fox, and it's on rails. You are the gunner on the ship, so it does all the moving for you. All you get to do is respond to the dialogues and shoot stuff. So, which can be fun.
That warplanes.
A turret simulator,
Right. Well, out of those, World War I warplanes looks to be the best in Applab.
Yep.
And
the one that I would be the most interested in would be warplanes.
Yeah, that's what I would say as well. And I just hope we keep seeing this profusion of games coming through App Labs, and maybe something innovative as opposed to the rehashing of these ideas.
Technically, Warriors is a little bit innovative, because of the time dilation in multiplayer. But then again, Sirento kind of has that too.
Oh, it does have it. It's not kind of. It has it. Very much so. Yeah. Oh, wow. I have to play Sirento. I forgot completely. Sirento is amazing. And it's funny because it came out how long ago? And it's
it came out a while ago, yeah.
And all of these great games that I was playing really seemed like, thinking about it now as we're talking about the new games that are appearing, like so many of them are just repetitions, almost reskinning old games as opposed to something new.
Well, I mean, that's always the case. I mean, how many versions of Counter-Strike have there been? How many different versions of Call of Duty have there been?
Too many.
How many versions of Halo?
Too many. That's the problem. How
many versions of Doom?
What are we up to? 3 are they coming out with now, or 4?
And how many MOBA games are there?
All right. I'm out. Yeah. I know there's a lot of repetition, but my point is just, I would think that at this point, we know developers, and they, some of them really do get the fact that certain things have to be either polished or changed.
Yeah.
And we need to see that now. It's like,
and some don't.
Right, especially like I'm watching Solaris getting their butt kicked by Hyperdash, and I'm loving it.
I predicted that.
We all did. And that's just it. Solaris.
I was a little bit worried for Hyperdash until Solaris came out, and I'm like,
Well, and the fact that the attitude that they took of like, no, we're not going to give you the game you want. We're going to give you the game we want, and you will.
You don't get the game you want. You get the game you need.
Oh my God! Yeah, that was the craziest. Anyway, so I hope everybody has learned from watching this. No, I think the funniest is the commercial that they're showing on TV right now, where somebody wants to, is it SoFi? I forget who's doing the advertisement, but it's some woman, and they're saying, so you want to be a big name, the newest big name in game development, and he doesn't like your idea, and he doesn't like your idea, but he does, and you see $25,000 appear in their account, and you're on your way, and it shows her picture on the cover of Entrepreneur magazine, and I'm thinking, I
don't think it's that way.
No, there's nothing about that commercial that in any way, shape, or form represented anything that has to do with reality. Because if you think that, never mind.
Well, there are people, there are bank accounts, there is money. Forbes did the magazine.
Right. I grant you, all those things exist, but in one place at one time in those amounts, no,
Yeah,
it's not realistic.
yeah,
But it was cute.
yeah. Well, speaking of upcoming titles and the people developing them,
Good segue.
we have Beat Arena coming from Konami, but only in Asia. There are no plans as yet that anyone knows for it to come to the Western world, but despite the name, it's not a Beat Saber clone. It's more a Guitar Hero or or, or Band Hero style game. So
Okay.
you
I used
are
to like Konami.
hitting notes and all that as they come towards you. So while
Right,
your
not like
band
Beats.
plays
Yeah.
on and progresses, and so yeah,
Okay.
it's Guitar Hero, but
Right.
it's called Beat
I guess
in
they had
VR.
to change the name.
Probably,
Konami used to be a really good developer. I
yeah,
haven't heard that name in a very long time.
yeah. So I look forward to possibly finding videos about that on YouTube and just seeing how it is. Um, Another upcoming game is Zero Caliber is going to be getting a Quest port. So it's a reasonably popular PC VR game. Some people don't like it, some people do. Same. That's true for any game. Yeah.
That, that is true. There seems to be people that do love any game, but Zero Caliber has potential, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that it's coming to the West. I would like more brand new games as well, and as you were alluding to earlier, brand new and innovative. But porting existing ones that people have been watching for 2 years, 3 years, and been not able to play because it was PC only, so that's a good thing too. You
No
know?
Man's Sky. No
Yeah,
Man's Sky.
I know. Well,
Elder
that's a
Scrolls.
little bit harder because of the sheer scope of the procedurally generated thing, but no, it would need to be severely reduced in scope.
Roguelite.
Yeah,
Roguelite.
yeah.
I'm just saying, the
You have
same
a
thing.
bad cough.
Yes, well, it's Florida. Okay. Where were we? Oh, yes. Keep
No,
going, please.
those are the only ones that I know of for upcoming titles. I think there is something coming out to this week, but I couldn't really remember what it was. So
I know. Well, we got
we'll find
inundated,
out when it comes.
and then you let us know, and we'll tell the others.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess this week it was the WhatsApp lab explosion, the app lab
Yeah.
explosion,
Yeah.
whatever. It just
It's
really,
kind of like the Precambrian explosion, but it's an app lab instead.
and it's alive.
Yeah.
It's alive. We're not finding the fossils of it yet,
Yeah.
although according to Boz, the Quest 2 is a fossil already. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Other than that,
Speaking of App Lab and what we were talking about earlier, it was only 3 people. Now it's expanding. They're looking to expand App Lab team so that even more games can be processed and approved.
well, now that they know that they can sell beta games for 15 to $20 a pop and take their 30%,
Yeah.
App Lab's great.
Yeah. And also, recent news, because this is over now, unfortunately, like 5 days ago now, I think, Music VCAT 2 was going on in VR chat. Um, this is kind of like VCAT, the virtual market, but instead of um, avatars, models, skins, animations, and all that stuff, it's all about music. And it's like walking through a giant FYE, a giant Borders or Barnes and Noble, where they have the kiosk where you can put on the headset and listen to the albums, and that's like that. Then they've got like 5 to 7 different worlds full of like at least 50 booths in each world. And you walk up to a booth, you hit play, and it does a little music visualizer thing in the background, and you hear a sample of the music that is for sale at that booth. And then if you click buy, it opens up a web browser where you can buy it.
Of course. Well, look, virtual reality and augmented reality are the marketing tools of the future. That's the other thing I've been doing when you asked about highlights of the week is I've been actually looking into the implementation of these things, and we're going to see such a profusion over the course of this year.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's something that we try to hit on in this show is that it's not only about the games. There's a whole heck of a lot more going on as well. That, I mean, the military applications, the health applications, the job applications, education,
Oh, yeah. The education is where, to me, is where it's really going to shine.
Really. Well, yeah, and we've got a little bit about that to coming up a little bit later too. But yeah, I mean it in pretty much every industry, every field, as well as the games.
Right, the games were really the engine to get this thing going. But the people that saw the potential put it to use immediately. Just because there are people that don't understand that doesn't mean that it's not working in the background in a lot of people's lives. I keep reading about all of the different surgeries that they're performing using augmented reality and virtual reality and the training programs that they have now. Yeah. And the offices, we were talking pre-show about the different office environments that have been created by multiple companies. The avatar creation, we're moving into a world that, as much as we might understand what's coming and the people who are watching us might have an understanding of what's coming, I hope the rest of the people out there really are still struggling with their smartphone. Right. So when this does make its appearance to them, we've seen it coming for years. It's like watching the freight train, and it's like, when is it going to get here? And these people, it's like it just appeared out of magic.
Right. It's going to hit them like a wrecking ball.
Ooh. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how people react to it. To me, it's just like,
I have to pay my excise 5 cents.
But seriously, watch people's eyes glaze over when you talk about what's going to hit them, and they just look at you like, no way. And it's already here. We're using it. We're playing with it. And it's like, sometimes.
Yeah. Yep. It's true. I mean, I can't say for sure that it's gonna take over in the way that is predicted in things like Ready Player One or all the various cyberpunk novels out there, but it will become more ubiquitous than it is, yes, and it will become a normal part of everyday life,
The same way that our parents didn't understand smartphones, never saw them coming, is the same way that, we're still limited in our field of vision because we're just still building on.
Well, that's because the Quest only has like a 90-degree field of view.
And getting smaller all the time, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the one thing that makes me kind of wish I could do a Pimax. The field of view.
Yeah, I know. It's made me want to.
What must it be like to actually have peripheral vision in VR?
Oh, well, that, and now that I'm watching all of the different tracking devices, I know it's on the list. I'm not going to get to, we'll just go with the flow here, okay?
Yeah.
Because I've been watching the Vive trackers, which are obviously finally back on the market again 3 years later, almost 4 years later from when they first appeared, and now they found a use for them. Strap them onto your body, and we'll track it. Ooh,
Yeah.
well, you've had that
Well, that's what people
ability.
have been doing. Yeah.
Well, no, not really, because they were supposed to introduce other objects into the virtual world. That was what the
Right,
tracker
but
originally was.
I mean, some people have been using those for full body tracking.
Right, and the Connect, and they've been,
Right.
but it's always been rigging it. And now it's like some college kid or high school kid, I don't know if you saw the article, has just basically put reflectors like on your hip, on your
Hmm.
ankle, on your elbow, and voila, you don't need $300 trackers. You just need a piece
Right.
of cardboard with silver paint. And these
Well, yeah.
lights.
I mean, uh, the Quest is very sensitive to infrared light, right?
Mhm.
There are things you can put on your hand that reflect more intensely in the infrared, or that even emit infrared, or
Did you
yeah.
did you read about Apple's ring that they're going to use, their controller rings?
Yeah,
Eh,
that's also something that has been in videos for a while. Is the AR tracking ring, is a ring that you can wear on, say, your index finger. No, no, I'm just talking about the
Right,
general idea.
right.
And you can do that with it. It tracks it in space, and then you had Google solely with their miniaturized radar that never went anywhere. That's the one that I was hoping would become real, because imagine wearing something on your wrist that then fully tracked all of your fingers. Perfect for AR and VR.
It's Google. It's
I
Google.
know, but
It's
am I
Google.
wrong?
No, of course, it was the absolute perfect device, and they just got rid of it right in time.
Yeah.
I don't, I, you know, once again, I had the only Android phone ever made with LiDAR, and
Yeah, I know.
they rendered it useless. It's just absolutely amazing to me that they came out with LiDAR and rendered it useless, while Apple is just making money like hand over fist with this
Apple's
thing.
going gung ho with it now. Yep.
So,
Well, that's how Google is. They introduce things and then let other people run with them.
or not,
Or
or, or,
not,
or then kill them off completely like cardboard. I mean, just
or
like
like Google Help
complete.
Out. I used to be a Google Help Out provider.
Really?
Yes.
No, that's the problem. For me, Google is truly cutting edge, so cutting edge, and then they just cut the product as well, which is
They
just,
cut the edge off.
it's fine if they come out with a cutting edge product. It's not fine when they give it to you and then take it away again.
Yeah.
That's the problem I have,
Yeah.
really. In making my home a smart home smarter this year, I chose to go Fire as opposed to Google for
Right.
just that reason, even
Yeah,
though I think
because
Google's
they are
somewhat better.
more they're committed to actually sit in with it. I know. I agree. But speaking of Fire and smart homes and how you can listen to music with it, we have unspecified DLC coming from Synthwriters on the 25th of this month.
How
um, they teased a video of a giant skull with hands so down here going, and coming so closer to you, and you looking like you are fighting it off with your spheres.
fears? Yes.
So people are speculating that it might be introducing boss fights, or maybe it's a specific genre that's coming, or who knows. But we will find out on the 25th,
Yeah, we will. That's the
or
only.
maybe earlier if they drop more hints.
I yeah, I was going to say it's very hard to get excited about an unspecified DLC. It's just not
Well,
thrill.
they, they didn't call it a DLC, just something big is coming, and I don't know if it's something that's just going to be in there, if it's something that's a DLC that you have to purchase. I don't know yet.
Right.
So I'm just calling it a DLC because no matter which way, you're going to have to download it.
Exactly. It won't be getting dust on the shelf.
Yes.
Anything else in the news on your end? I know I've been taking up a lot of the news.
Yes. Also, did you know that just about 20% of Facebook employees are now working on VR? That's not
Really?
exactly related to the App Lab team because I don't think 20% of Facebook is now working on App Lab, but
I don't know how many people
across the
work for
board.
Facebook. You know, there might be 6 people working for Facebook for all I know. Chad and 5 people working under him. You know, I just, but yes, I see that they're putting more people in because I don't know. I can't deal with the fractured ecosystem that they've now created, you know, as opposed to the progression, which was fine, really fine. They just, I don't know why they had some sort of schism. And
I don't know.
I just hope that they can get it together again. Well, I do know Carmack's not leading the way anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think he stepped down because they weren't letting him lead the way anymore.
Exactly, and I think that was
he
the
kept
mistake.
having to fight with them, and he got tired of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's exactly what happened, and I think that that's when we noticed the difference in what could have been and what's still.
Yeah.
I think if he was still there, we would not be waiting for the.
We'd already have 120 hertz, and it'd be working for most apps.
That's what I just said. You know, yes,
Yeah.
we're in complete agreement. You know, Carmack was their genius, and now they just have marketing and slow people who will do incremental steps. And that's not going to work again, right? It's not going to work for me. So I'm looking at alternative headsets for the future, and we'll be discussing them as they.
I mean, if the Deca Gear comes out and is a good headset and has promise, that might be a good idea right there. You know, just hook it straight up for the PC.
It might be. You know, I don't know because once again, you need the PC. So it really depends.
Well, because they're going to have a wireless support too. You know, with their own custom wireless adapter and all that. So that might be the way to go, or go with the Apple. You know, if it's the Apple one, that might be the way to go. But I know what you mean. A lot of people are not happy with the direction that Facebook is going with a lot of stuff, but it's currently the best option for VR.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree.
It really is. You know.
But as opposed to loving it, I'm feeling hostage to it.
Right.
And that's a change that I never felt before. You know,
right. Well, speaking of change, you might be able to make a decent sum of change if you invest in the Roblox Direct Offering IPO.
Brought to you.
VR related, you ask? Well, VR Roblox has a VR interface for at least a few of the games. Right. I have not been able to make it work with Virtual Desktop, but I believe it works with Link or with a PC VR device. And they, on March 10th, 5 days ago, as of this recording, went public. And it was, I think, perhaps a little bit overhyped. Because initial reports were that they were going to open at $45 a share. So people were putting in their limit orders for $45, and then rumor came out that it looked like it was going to be going up to $65. So people canceled those limit orders and put in limit orders for 65 to 70. And then rumor had it was going to go higher. And, well, it turns out it opened up like 65, 64 and a half. So $20 more than what it was originally going to. And it didn't open up for trading until like 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, because Roblox was holding off, seeing how high the limit orders would go before they opened.
I know it's that's the problem with all the. But look at Facebook's IPO. When you first bought Facebook, you couldn't even trade in your share for a donut, and now look how crazy it went. So
But
I don't
Roblox
know.
is now currently trading for, as of my search of a few minutes ago, $72.15. So
Yes.
if you got in at the very beginning, you got a $7 profit.
Right, but if you
Per share.
bought Bitcoin 2 minutes ago, you just made $47,000. So you better sell it quick because it's going to drop 50 in the next 5 minutes. So
True.
it's
True, but it's also so this is a good thing if you have a kid and want to get them involved in investing, because this is a company that they understand.
okay.
They get it. Yeah. So, anyways, moving on. Did you know that the Dr. Beef Half-Life 2 Half-Life 2 port probably won't happen? And
Really?
the reason why is because there is no open source engine for it. So it's all copyrighted and protected.
Yeah, that would make it difficult.
Yeah, so he would get in legal trouble if he tried.
Right. But if anybody could do it, he could, and he might be able to arrange for something like that. We'll have to see what happens.
It probably wouldn't hurt for him to reach out and say, hey, I would love to make or help you guys make,
Right. And let's put it on App Lab.
Right.
And
Right.
let's I'd love to see Carmack take some of his stuff and bring it over to App Lab and VR and just like that would be pretty fun.
And speaking of what we were speaking of earlier about the myriad applications of AR and VR, Morehouse College is opening a virtual twin campus where you will be able to attend virtually VR classes.
That's virtually amazing. Yeah, it is. It's so funny watching. I am so. Is it real virtual reality though, or is it just going to be Zoom again?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, because I am so tired of reading about all of these things that are virtual.
Yeah, Zoom calls is not virtual reality.
I mean, what we're doing now is not virtual reality, and this is what people are calling virtual reality. So when I'm trying,
because this is one of the few times when I kind of agree with the people that want to call it XR, because the nomenclature virtual has existed for a while to include this is a virtual meeting.
Right.
But it's not a virtual meeting in virtual reality.
Right.
It's a virtual meeting.
Exactly. And then again, the entire globe has experienced an alternative reality for the past year or so. Yeah, XR
If
is
only
really,
were an alternate reality game, because then it would be fun.
yeah, and it wouldn't have taken so long. It would have been
Well, no, so some of those take a really long time.
No, but not that long.
Alternate reality games that I read about recently where there was a puzzle that had a picture of a guy and you had to locate him, identify him, and you had to contact him. He would give you a code that you had to give to the company. Well, the company is long since defunct. There were people working on it still, and it's like, 10, 20 years later, and they found the guy.
I saw the picture.
And he still remembered the code that he was going to give them.
Oh my God. Yeah. Now, if only he
That's
would
the amazing part.
If only he would tell the man who lost his virtual wallet with his Bitcoin that's worth what, like $1 billion now that he can't recover.
Wanted him to the dumpster to find it.
Right, he was going to pay them for it. I don't know that I could survive that. I really don't. $1 billion worth of Bitcoin.
Well, I know, not personally, but I know someone that's a podcast host that was into mining, lost that the hard drive, and this was in the early days of Bitcoin mining. So he's probably got a few $1 billion on there.
Oh, man, substantial chunk, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say I saw an article that all the central banks in the globe are going to go with e-currency probably within the year, and that'll have some unbelievable impact on digital currency. But we'll have to see where that goes. But yeah, all the central banks are going to do it. So welcome to the future. You know.
Yep. So Applied VR has been voted one of the most innovative companies of 2021, which we are now 3 months into, by Fast Company. And it Applied VR is a VR for health research and development, basically. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. No.
It's going on all around us outside of the games. You know?
Right. That's what I'm saying is like, you know, that has become my focus really as far as like investigation over the last month, I would imagine. The advances that are being made are so far beyond games. I guess that's why I'm anxious to see some of it being implemented in games, because it was like it's the games that create the interest in being able to create these new innovations. Can we have those innovations come back into the game, please?
Right.
You know.
Right.
Like give back, you know.
Yeah.
But
get back to where it once belonged.
JoJo.
So, anyways, speaking of your current focus, we have new Vive, not focus, but trackers for your.
I was making fun of it before, but you know, actually, I guess if you. I guess it's a way of communicating, although it's ridiculous. It picks up your tongue.
If it's accurate enough, it can help people like me who are hearing impaired, because we read lips, and you can't do that in VR.
Right. Now all they have to do is give you the eye tracking actually in the headset, not add it after they came out with the Vive Pro, then the Vive Pro with Tobin, you know. It's like, yes, if I have the eye tracker, then this is fine. But if I don't even have the eye tracker, now we're back up to how much money for this headset that is how old?
Right. That's the only drawback is it's still Vive, which is still an incredibly expensive option. I mean, it's a good option. It is one of the best headsets out there in many ways, but it's so expensive.
I know. I mean, I own it, but it's terrible in the sense that the controllers are nothing compared to the touch. Nothing. They're horrible. Ones are absolutely awful.
Yeah. Speaking of the controllers, did you see the video about the guy breaking the Quest?
I read about it. I didn't see it. I didn't want to watch it. That would have been too heartbreaking. I couldn't.
Well, he had another Quest on the shelf, and that's his actual one. but evidently the Quest 2 controllers held up a lot better than the Quest 2 headset did.
Yeah.
So they're pretty tough.
That's what they said. They were amazing for him to actually destroy it. It took some effort, you know. The headset, not so much, like you said, but the controllers, right away.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's nice to know, being that we don't have good grips and they're going to be flying around for a while.
I know, right?
Now,
Unlike Vive wands, which are awkward because they're so long to begin with, and they break all the time. And
I had someone break my wand the first time that they played with it, just because it was so long, it out of their hand, and it hit something that was outside of the Guardian, and it was just,
Yeah.
So, and now light boxes have become such a pain in the butt for me, really a pain in the butt.
Right.
And so I have the Vive Pro, but I'm not buying the lip tracker.
Yeah.
And
I mean, as much as Facebook is not everyone's most favorite company, uh, the Quest and the Quest 2, I mean, you know,
I
for
still
all those
use them.
flaws, you know.
Right. I know. I know. I have how many headsets, and those are the ones I still use. But so that gives me the right to complain because, you know, I can say with absolute certainty that this would have been an amazing chance for them to take light years of a leap, and they took that baby step. So.
Yeah. And as you were mentioning, new trackers with reflectors make full body tracking much cheaper and better.
You're talking like $200, and you're going to be able to do full body tracking with the lights and the reflectors.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I, they-
I mean, um, technically, the camera that I have on my computer over here has depth sensing in it. Um, so um, there are I could possibly hook up the Connect API and all that, but if this method is easier and more reliable,
oh, if this method works, I'll be online to get this one because, you know, I haven't bought the vest because it's kind of a pricey item for a limited amount of games.
right,
And the trackers are cool, but I don't want to spend $1,000 to be able to see my wrists move and my knees move in VR. Exactly, you know, that's a lot. But if for $150 I can have my whole body dancing in there,
right,
and
and have everybody laughing at your dancing.
that's fine. I expect them to. I fully expect them
Yep.
to. But
Yeah.
that would be great.
Yeah.
That I would really enjoy,
Yeah.
and get rid of all this other expensive, ridiculous crap. You know, it's just why bother?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
go backwards in this? It's crazy.
Yeah. True. Yep. I mean, sometimes the best solution is not more technology, but less technology. Yeah.
It's Occam's razor. The
Yeah.
simplest solution is the
Yeah.
best. It
Yeah.
usually is.
Yeah. I mean, this is reminding me of how they used to make whiteboards for the Wii remotes, the Wii pen remotes or whatever, right?
Right.
And they would use reflective, UV reflective tape, and be able to track his position with the Wiimote, the
Right.
camera.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same way that all you have to do is put a symbol on a piece of paper and you bring up your AR and you
Right.
bring up your,
Right.
animation and everybody looks at it like it's magic and all you've done is give it a QR code that makes it do something and everybody goes,
Yeah.
ooh,
Yep.
you know.
All it is a QR code that says "Start animation."
Exactly.
Basically.
And everybody just looks at the magic you've created. And that's why I said people are just going to absolutely freak when they see what people can do with the equipment that's being created now. It's kind of fun.
Anyways, that brings us to the end of our show. Surprising.
Wow. And
Time
we
to be once again tethered
to
to,
reality.
but always remain untethered in your mind. Untether your brain from the rest of your body. Just let it float inside of your head, unconnected.
Or wait, as David Bowie said, don't play the game of time. What happened in the past only happened in your mind.
Okay. He also said, "Jump, baby, jump, jump, baby,
Well, at least he didn't sing Baby Shark. So on that
baby,
note,
baby, baby." So, if you stuck around to the end of the show, so thank you. We greatly appreciate you, and we wish you would encourage more people to stay to the end of the show also, because they get to see our crazy silliness at the end of the show instead of only at the beginning, which is even more better.
even more better.
Yeah.
Just like our grammar, even more better.
Yep. better, betterer, more betterer, and the most betterest.
Most betterest, of course. Thank you for clearing that up.
Bye. Have a great day. Have a good rest of your week. Bye.